On one of Los Angeles's sunny mornings, Barron Trump sat at his desk, deeply engrossed in thought. He was flipping through memoirs from his father's presidency, pondering the challenges his family had faced. For Barron, solitude wasn't just a habit, it was a necessity. In a quiet world, he found comfort in the echoes of his own mind. Melania Trump quietly approached her son's door and knocked gently. "Barron, have you finished your breakfast? Are you planning to go out today?" Barron looked up at his mother, his thoughts still lingering. "Yes, I think I need to clear my head. I'm going to La Terrace. It's quiet, and a good place to think." Melania nodded in approval, but couldn't hide the concern in her eyes about how her son might be received in the outside world. La Terrace was one of Barron's favorite spots. With its large windows offering a panoramic view of Los Angeles, the restaurant's warm atmosphere was inviting. But that day, it was busier than usual. Among the patrons were celebrities, journalists, and politicians. Barron, wearing his signature red cap, took his seat. The cap was more than an accessory. It was a symbol that made him both recognizable and controversial. The stares started almost immediately. Some were curious, while a group of young people discreetly pulled out their phones to take pictures. A waiter approached Barron with his usual politeness. "Welcome, Mr. Trump. What would you like today?" "I'll have the truffle risotto, thank you," Barron replied. But the simple exchange couldn't stop the whispers from the nearby tables. One man seated nearby leaned toward the waiter and murmured something, his eyes fixed on Barron's cap. Though Barron pretended not to notice, the tension in the room was palpable. The restaurant manager, alerted by complaints from some customers, walked over to Barron's table with a tense expression. "Mr. Trump," he began, "our restaurant has a policy against political symbols. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to remove your cap." Barron listened calmly. He didn't want to escalate the situation, but the request was disheartening. Standing up without removing the cap, he replied, "I respect your rules, but I think it's best if I leave." The restaurant fell silent. Barron's words echoed as some patrons looked down in shame, while others admired his quiet dignity.
Barron's departure from the restaurant was caught on video by another customer. Within hours, the footage went viral on social media. The internet erupted with debates. Some praised Barron's composed reaction, while others defended the restaurant's policy. When Barron returned home, he discovered the growing storm. His phone buzzed constantly with notifications. Even his father, Donald Trump, called to offer advice. "Son, this is a test for you. Remember, silence can sometimes be the strongest answer." But as the online discussions grew more heated, Barron felt uneasy. He didn't want to see society divided over a simple incident. He knew he had to find a way to turn this into something positive.
Barron sat in his family's spacious living room, surrounded by his mother, close friends, and a few trusted advisors. The mood was serious, but supportive. Emily, a college friend known for her community activism, spoke first. "This incident has already become a public debate, Barron. People are watching how you'll respond. You have an opportunity to lead, not just react," she said, her voice calm but determined. Barron nodded, his face thoughtful. "But how? I don't want this to be about me or the hat. It's not about taking sides." Emily leaned forward. "Exactly. That's why we need to shift the focus to something bigger. What if we hosted a public event? A gathering that invites people from all sides, those who agree with you and those who don't, to come together. We could raise money for a good cause while promoting understanding and dialogue." Melania chimed in, her voice steady. "It's a beautiful idea, Barron. Turning negativity into something constructive will show strength and maturity. But are you ready for the responsibility? Barron looked around the room, meeting each person's gaze. He felt the weight of their expectations, but also their support. Taking a deep breath, he said, "Let's do it. If this can bring even a small sense of unity, it's worth it." Over the next few days, the planning began in earnest. Barron reached out to local charities and community leaders, seeking their guidance. Emily took charge of logistics, organizing food trucks, entertainment, and booths for organizations focused on fostering dialogue and youth mentorship. The event would be held directly in front of La Terrasse. Barron wanted the location to send a clear message. Even in places of conflict, there's room for reconciliation and growth. As the days passed, word spread quickly. Social media lit up with discussions about the upcoming event. Some were skeptical, dismissing it as a publicity stunt, while others praised Barron for his initiative. For Barron, the doubts only fueled his determination. "Let them come," he said to Emily during a late-night planning session. "Skeptics, supporters, everyone. They'll see what this is really about when they're here." The morning of the event dawned bright and clear, the Los Angeles sun casting a golden glow over the city. Volunteers were already hard at work, setting up tables, booths, and a stage in front of La Terrasse. Banners with messages of unity and hope hung between lampposts, their words swaying gently in the breeze. "Building bridges, not walls," and "United we stand." Barron arrived early, dressed simply but confidently. His signature calm demeanor masked the nervous energy bubbling beneath the surface. Emily greeted him with a reassuring smile. "We're ready. The turnout looks promising." As the hours passed, the crowd grew steadily. Families, young professionals, activists, and even a few curious onlookers filled the space. There were food trucks offering diverse cuisines, live music from local bands, and booths run by various non-profits, all working together to create a vibrant and welcoming atmosphere. Barron moved quietly through the crowd, shaking hands and engaging in small conversations. A woman approached him with her young son, who was clutching a small American flag. "Thank you for organizing this," she said. "My family's been feeling so divided lately. It means a lot to see someone trying to bring people together." Barron smiled warmly. "That's the goal. We need to find ways to talk to each other, not just argue." As the afternoon wore on, Barron took the stage. The crowd fell silent as he stepped up to the microphone. His voice was steady, but there was a depth of emotion that caught everyone's attention. "This started as a small incident," he began, "but it revealed something much bigger, a gap in how we connect with one another. We've become so quick to judge, to label, to divide. But today, we're here to show that there's another way, that even when we disagree, we can come together for something greater." The crowd erupted in applause. As Barron stepped down from the stage, he felt a flicker of hope. For the first time in days, he believed that this event might truly make a difference. As the event continued, there was a quiet stir in the crowd. People began turning toward the entrance of La Terrasse. Standing there, dressed in his usual sharp suit but looking slightly hesitant, was the restaurant manager. Barron noticed the movement and turned to see the man approaching. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the noise of the crowd seemed to fade. The manager walked toward Barron, his expression a mixture of regret and resolve. "Mr. Trump," he said, extending his hand, "I've come to apologize. What happened that day, it wasn't handled well. I thought I was protecting my staff and patrons, but I realize now that I was wrong. Watching what you've done here today, it's humbling. Barron shook his hand firmly but gently. It takes courage to admit a mistake. Thank you for coming. This event isn't about blame. It's about moving forward together. The exchange, though brief, carried immense weight. The crowd, sensing the significance of the moment, began to applaud. It wasn't the polite clapping of strangers. It was genuine, heartfelt, and uplifting. The manager, moved by the response, stayed for the rest of the event, speaking with attendees and even volunteering to help at one of the booths. By the end of the day, he approached Barron again. "I'd like to do more," he said. "Maybe we can collaborate on an event like this in the future, something that brings people together." Barron smiled. "I'd like that. Let's make it happen." By the end of the event, the funds raised were designated for local charities. Barron felt a deep sense of accomplishment, but knew this was only the beginning of his journey. In his closing remarks, he said, "Today, we didn't just raise money, we shared hope. By listening to each other, we can build a stronger community." We've come to the end of today's story. Barron Trump's message of leadership and unity can inspire us all. If you want more meaningful and thought-provoking content like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to like the video and share your thoughts with us in the comments. See you in the next video. Take care.